which means we are live for our Facebook work session. So we will have, this is in preparation for our last meeting, our recess meeting in August, next Tuesday, the 18th at 5:30. And our first item to do is for a presentation by Michelle Anderson. I think the whole of the Humane Society is here, but Michelle, I'm assuming you're going to be making, right down here if you would.
Yes.
Come on down to the end of the table, and y'all can tell us what you want us to know about your year, your project, your organization, et cetera, et cetera.
Good morning, Mayor and Aldermen and all the other meeting members here. My name is Ryan Handern. I'm the Vice President of the Occidental County Humane Society. We're happy to be here this morning. Thank you very much for having us. To my left is Marty Haug. He's the President of the Humane Society. This is Sarah Hankins. She's the manager of our shelter. And this is Michelle Anderson. She's our Executive Director. And we're really grateful to have you. We're really grateful to be here. So.
Okay, I believe y'all have a PowerPoint.
We do.
Okay.
We do. Just as a recap for people who aren't familiar with everything the Occidental County Humane Society does, we do of course manage the Starkville Animal Shelter through an agreement with the City of Starkville and Occidental County. We also recently, in November of 2024, opened the OCHS Spay and Neuter Clinic. We provide low-cost spay and neuter and surgeries and and sick care for owned pets. We also provide services for shelter animals and rescues. OCHS also runs the OCHS Express Animal Relocation Program. We transport animals to rescue partners up north, typically up north, and out west where there's a higher adoption demand. And then we also provide pet retention and community support services to help pet owners keep animals in their homes and out of the shelter. 2025 impact, we've relocated, we average somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 animals being relocated from Mississippi every year. Since we started this program really heavily in 2012, we have relocated over 35,000 dogs and cats homeless dogs and cats out of Mississippi.
Do you spay and neuter before you relocate them?
So when they are transported, they don't necessarily have to be spayed and neutered, but the agreements that we have with all the destination shelters and rescues require them to spay and neuter them before they're adopted out. So we've also, last year we performed close to 2,000 surgeries on owned animals. We actually did more than that if you include our shelter animals and rescue partners. And then we provided around 300, we averaged somewhere between 20 and 25 pet owners helped each month through either our Community Second Chance Fund, where we provide vouchers or subsidies for medical assistance for an animal that may have had a catastrophic injury or illness and the pet owner is not able to cover the costs. We've also helped a pet owner fix his fence so that he could keep his dog and because he kept coming to the shelter. And then we've also helped with food, donated food, and other assistance to help animals stay with their owners and again out of the shelter. Some of the challenges that we continue to see are basically that shelter intake remains basically the same, and it has for a number of years. Our operating costs, though, however, continue to increase, and our adoption rates this year are down 30% from last year, and it is, people can't afford it. They can't afford to adopt. They can't afford to feed the animals that they have, and so we've done everything from adoption promotions, and we have a very heavy social media presence, but it's not working. And transport has been essential in making sure that our animals that we're able to, that are live release and the positive outcomes for the animals that come to us are stay high. But the fact is that animal relocation cannot solve the problem that we continue to face. And so without a change in approach, we're going to continue to face the same issues that we have with homeless and neglected animals in Starkville and Ottawa County. And we're not going to fix the problem at the source. And so we are coming to you guys today, in addition, of course, to asking for an additional $5,000 increase in our allotment for shelter operations to be able to give our shelter staff a small increase in pay this year. We are also asking you guys to consider a spay-neuter voucher program for Starkville residents. And so we're asking for $36,000, which would basically cover 500 or 700 vouchers for spay and neuter surgeries for dogs and cats in Starkville. We've broken it down to two different tiers. The first tier would be focused on lower income pet owners. We do have income limits, and the income would need to be verified, as well as Starkville residency. And of course, this is the goal is to remove the financial barriers to people who for these spay and neuter surgeries, and prevent the families from surrendering animals to the unwanted litters and even their animals who become pregnant to the shelter. The second tier is more broad, and it's basically just to, we want to encourage the community to get behind this and support this, and addresses our overpopulation problem regardless of income level. And so it just kind of gets the word out. The idea is that the vouchers can be used at any veterinary clinic in Ottawa County.
What's a spay and neuter cost?
Well, so it depends. So at our clinic, the OCHS spay and neuter clinic, it's $65 for a cat and $110 for a dog. For at any of our local clinics, it depends on the size. It depends on the if it's a cat or dog, it could go anywhere from $150 to $600 or $700.
Big dog. Or tiny dog.
Well, yes.
Degree of difficulty I was going with. So.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. And so, so we would coordinate that. We would work with our staff. OCHS would absorb the cost of actually managing the voucher program, and every bit of the money would go directly toward a voucher for the spay and neuter surgery. And this just goes back to our point is that, this is an investment in it. It reduces costs for taxpayers and for local government. We're addressing the challenge at the source instead of reacting to it and treating it after the animals are either in the shelter or on the streets and suffering. And so, our costs right now are, our cost right now for sheltering animals is somewhere around $375 over the last 4 years, and it continues to increase every single year. If the city wants to maximize their investment in the community and sheltering and what OCHS is doing, a voucher program can do that. And it's basically you're investing $45 or $75 in an animal versus what happens when we get that animal into our shelter and have to, determine an outcome.
Do you have any stats on how many people come to you and say, I need to get my pet spayed or neutered, and then go away because they can't afford it?
So, I mean,
was that a?
We don't specifically ask folks to. We get people who come to us all the time and say, the clinic, anyone who has come to the clinic, and that has been over 4,000 people now since November of 2024, tell us that the clinic has been a godsend to them because they could not afford it otherwise. We work with all the local veterinary clinics in town, and they have been wonderful about continuing to work with us, and our clinic actually refers out to them. But the fact remains that, you know, we all kind of, the OCHS Spay and Neuter Clinic is focused on largely focused on spay and neuter, and so therefore, and because we're also a nonprofit, we're able to keep the costs low.
So you're not turning people away, is what I'm hearing you
We
tell
are
me.
not turning people
Okay.
away. We have grants. We work with local rescues, and also we have grants. One in particular that's about to run out. It's our largest grant from Banfield Foundation, where we're able to subsidize, largely subsidize even our cost for the grant. And so we have, we work with Operation Colony Cats out of Columbus. They are, I don't know if anyone follows them in here, but they're constantly posting every week free spay neuter surgeries at our clinic, and they're covering the difference in the cost. And so it's a combination of, if somebody comes to us, so no ma'am, we're not turning anyone away. If somebody comes to us and says, I can't afford it, we work it out. In fact, at the moment, we are working with a colony, a woman who is managing has about 10 or 15 cats inside the city of Starkville, and she is taking care of all of them, but she wants to get them fixed. She doesn't want to surrender them to the shelter, and we're working with, she can't afford it. We're working with her on that, so we're utilizing those grants to do that.
Okay, I was just wondering how this, I mean, are you gonna have a wide outreach that says, come on down? I think you've quasi been doing that, so my question, I guess, is you're just wanting money to be able to do more?
Yes, I mean, we want to be able to focus on Starkville and Oktibbeha County for this particular initiative, and we don't have an unending number of grants. Our Banfield Foundation grant is going away, and the demand that we get at our clinic is not just from Oktibbeha and Starkville; it's from all over. We are asking the city and the county to invest in Starkville and Oktibbeha County residents as an investment to reduce the number of animals coming to the Starkville shelter that are surrendered to our shelter. And we're hoping that this program it kind of sets a precedent for our nearby communities who have no animal shelter, who have no animal control, who are constantly reaching out to us for help. That and I know this is going to be successful, and this is going to be there's going to be a huge demand, that we can go to them and say, look how, you know, successful this was. So rather than investing $500,000 in a new animal shelter, or having to, you know, invest in mass euthanasia of animals that are on the streets, why don't you invest money on the front end to prevent these unwanted litters in the first place? We estimate that there are somewhere around 7,500 dogs and cats in Starkville and Oktibbeha County that are living in homes where there is that are experiencing financial vulnerability, and so we anticipate with this particular ask that that in the first year we're gonna impact about 20%. So within 5 years, assuming that no other animals are born, we could have completely spayed and neutered all of those animals within 5 years. And so the expectation is that in the next few years, we're going to start seeing the number of animals coming into the shelter going down, and that in the next 5 years that we're going to start seeing some pretty significant decrease in our numbers.
Okay, well, I'm a huge supporter of shelter medicine out at the university, as well as the spay and neuter program. You remember
Thank
Dr.
you.
Busby's mobile spay and neuter clinic, well, I thought was fabulous, because he was here, but he went other locations as well.
Yes.
So I think it's very worthwhile. Does this 36,000 times 2, is that to fulfill or to backfill the loss of the Banfield grant?
Not necessarily. We are still, I mean, it will certainly help for Oktibbeha and Starkville residents, but we are still piecing together the difference of the costs from the voucher and the actual cost to spay and neuter the animals at our clinic. But again, the voucher is for any veterinary clinic in Oktibbeha County.
Well, I would assume, okay, let me I'll get to you in just a second. I would assume that we've got multiple veterinarians, and I think you said it depends on the vet as to how much it's gonna cost. So we're gonna like bid that out for the lowest,
So,
as opposed to spreading it. Well, I mean, you wanna spread it around, but if somebody's here and somebody else is here, and you're getting the same service, how do you manage that?
so our initial thought was that we were going to leave it open, since we do have a great working relationship with all the veterinarians in town. And, they have, and we work well with them, even with our OCHS spay and neuter clinic, is that we would give them the opportunity to work with us on reducing their prices for this particular initiative, and for us to be able to go out there and publicize that.
Okay, that's fine. I just,
Yeah.
go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm struggling financially. I have a pet that needs to be spayed or neutered, and it's going to cost $250. $75 is really not going to move the needle on that. Have y'all considered reducing the number of vouchers in order to be able to actually accomplish the goal of getting the animal spayed or neutered, having a sliding scale that takes into account? I saw that you had tiers, but have you considered more of a sliding scale so that that these things can be accomplished? It takes longer to get to your end goal of getting all the animals addressed, but
So we're pretty excited about doing the 1,500, with the expectation that we are going to have to come up with raising the money to cover.
the remainder.
Yes.
Okay. That's one thing. And with the donation that we've made in the past, outside contribution that we've made in the past to the Humane Society, we do that on the front end. I would recommend that with this particular program that we do it on a reimbursement basis rather than an upfront payment. So when you've provided vouchers
Yes.
to X number of people, you submit an invoice to us and we pay them.
Quarterly kind of thing.
Mhm.
Have y'all talked to the county yet?
Monday.
Okay, all right. Any other questions of our wonderful Humane Society folks? And we do, y'all do God's work, in my opinion. Oh, I'm sorry. You gotta get my attention.
Yeah. Well, I figured
My
you-
peripheral
you
vision's a
look
little
around.
off.
I got two success stories from you guys. I got-
3.
Well, Rosie and Roxy is what we call them. But, Roxy was a little dog that was dropped off, and they left her, and I think chased them down the street. She had puppies the next day or something. But you touched a little bit more about that airplane that shows up about twice a month. Because I see it out there. I'm out at the airport, and you're loading dogs up and sending them up north, and that's a big thing. And I think they're coming in from other places too, right? For that.
We're a hub for
Yeah.
North Central Mississippi.
Yeah, I've seen that plane. I think down at maybe Meridian at the airport also. So I had her DNA tested, and a few months went by, and I was contacted by one of her puppies from up north. So that made me feel they wanted pictures of the mother. But I fully support what you guys are doing. Again, we got two success stories from there, and yeah, I know it's a tough job, and even if we just go over and visit, and take something over there, I'm always like, well, we'll take another one home or something. We can't take any more off.
We have an adoption special.
Yeah, that's okay.
And we have a really
We've
good
run out of
special for,
couches.
yes, for city leaders who
Yeah.
if you want to come in, I'll send 2 for
Pit
1
bulls
for
like
you.
couches, and we run out of couches. We have no more couches.
How is your foster program? Is that doing well? Do you have much success with the foster program?
We do. We have a small number of fosters that are pretty consistent because our foster program relies so heavily on college students. It kind of comes and goes, but we have a pretty good foster system in place. I would say we probably have about 25 committed fosters that have been with us for several years, and they take multiple animals from us.
I see a lot of your social posts that talk about in need of fosters, and you have kittens and that sort of thing. So I just wondered how that program was working.
Well, our fosters don't get a lot of breaks right now. So
yeah, well, I mean,
we need
I took
more.
that, yeah.
Especially this time of year, we have, we call it kitten season. Nowadays, it doesn't really end. It'll go all year round, but in the spring and early summer, we just get inundated with kittens, and we have, we need more fosters than ever all the time. And the only way to get ahead of this is by offering more spay and neuter on the front end. This is a case of preventative medicine being cheaper than medicine. So,
Yeah. And y'all do the spay and release or the neuter and release
The trap and
program
release,
for the cats?
yes, ma'am.
We
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Well, on that, generally, the theory is if they're fixed and then go back to where they were, they have their territory. So nobody else is gonna move in, but there's not gonna be a replenishment.
Okay.
Obviously, if they're removed, and everybody knows this from any kind of pest analysis, more are gonna move in. So this is only way, you have to maintain the area,
Their
but
territory?
not maintain the breeding. And the only way to do it is with, these spay neuter initiatives. And as far as, like the cost on it, the cost of one animal that comes in that and that's, Michelle has the numbers in there well, is so much, but everyone that has a dog or a cat that they don't think they can afford to spay or neuter, that's gonna quickly turn into 6 or 12. And so it's a very predictable exponential problem. And so then the 6 to 12 come in because that one didn't come in. And 6 to 12 times 300 is considerably more than one at 75.
Yes.
So
And just
all in
to-
all, it saves the budget.
We also vaccinate any TNRs that are
Okay.
brought to us as well.
Okay. All right. Any other questions of these folks? Again, thank y'all so much, because you really are doing things. I can't even, other than to take some stuff to you, I can't even go in, because I just come right back out again with something in my lunch. I can't do it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate y'all being here. All right, with that being said, we can go into our agenda items. We have 2 sets of minutes. Mr. Huskisson, you have looked at those. Are those consent worthy? Ms. McLaurin, you're happy with those as well? Shall we put those on consent? I'm sorry, sir?
I said, okay with the board. I'm good.
Oh, okay, all right, well, I look to you these days, so I'll let you carry the weight on this. And then I have a comment that Mr. Kemp is asking me to make verbally, just to notify for purposes, I think it's legal purposes, Edward, or just
It's
kind of
more-
lead in?
We're gonna advertise in the paper, it's
Yeah.
just additional
Okay.
notification to the community.
All right, well, I will make that notification at the board meeting. I'll read that out, so that way.
And is that just part of the process for this type of funding?
Yes, yes. And then Mike will allow you to talk about the Sturgis bike ride.
And could I say something about that?
You
right?
can, go right
So,
ahead.
I'm just on the phone with the Sturgis mayor, getting some final numbers, and, I mean, it's really ramped up from previous years. He's worked hard, and the community's worked hard. Not me as much, I've been out more than I've been able to be there, but 30 vendors inside, 30 vendors outside. Last
When you
year-
say inside, you're talking about in the park
yeah.
area?
We tried to put them all inside the park last year as a first deal, and to get people in the park, you gotta, get the armband, but so many people don't come in there, so we got that, and like the dinner ride, had about 100 last year, we're up to 300 already signed up.
Oh, my word.
Yeah,
That's pretty
so,
cool.
Yeah, we've really ramped things up, and he's expected, obviously, double the population or the attendance that we had last year, so add a lot of things for kids too, so, and the city benefits, and in turn, the city, we help with, in kind with the sanitation. So,
Right.
So,
Well, they're
Mr.
getting,
Smiley's got his work cut out for him.
that's great, that's great. And OCEDA has donated, they've upped their donation.
They upped their donation.
So,
They sure did.
that's all, communities participating
That's
with
right.
them, and hopefully all that will be another successful rally. So that'll be interesting to see what kind of
Yeah, we're excited.
attendance you're looking at.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna ask the chief, we asked it last time, but I would like to kind of outline
Yeah.
it. So outline the route, if you would.
It's not broken, don't fix it.
And, well, okay, but
So-
remind everybody, because
Yes,
that's.
ma'am. Because of the construction and potential gravel and dangers to the motors, right? We chose a route that, again, is difficult last year. It's gonna start off in Sturgis, come up probably 12, 25 north, come in on 182, And then we'll take a turn in on the intersection, taking it into Tally Ho and the route coming up Greensboro, keeping it straight down Greensboro as it turns into Lampkin, and then we'll off into Russell Street onto the Highway 12 area, taking northbound into Highland Village.
Okay.
And I'm sure that Alderman folks will be somewhere in one of those lead packs. But credit to our motors, specifically Browning, who's been coordinating with other law enforcement recently. Obviously, Skidco and Winston County come back through. So we're glad to take a role and help design that.
And it's still a stop at, because one year y'all stopped at the fire station.
Yeah, it's Clayton Village.
Yeah, so back to Clayton Village, but, so the best view is gonna be probably at Lampkin and Russell,
Absolutely.
at the fire station park?
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
I could see some food trucks at that.
Yes, ma'am.
So, all right, cool. Thank you very much, Chief. Appreciate it. All right, fun. All right, we will have our first public hearing on tax millage and budget for the city of Starkville for the fiscal year 2026-27, and we can discuss that among ourselves, open it as a public hearing, and then come back and have any other discussions that we might want to have. So, anybody have anything at this point in time they want to talk about as it relates to the budget before we roll through? Oh, yes, we'll follow back with that. So, all right, well, then we'll go to the next one, which is Mr. Haviland's.
Yes, this is a special exception. It's kind of an unusual one. It's to remove an additional standard that's associated with the use. And that use is a special event facility. And our code currently prohibits any kind of special event facility to be on the first floor downtown type zone. And this facility has already kind of started the process of moving in. They've leased the space. So they went to P&Z last week, and P&Z voted 3-2 to recommend approval. But
Okay,
they have also submitted, which you'll see it in the packet, since that, the P&Z meeting, they have submitted some self-imposed conditions. So we added those in instead.
okay. And the staff recommended denial, though, is that correct?
The staff recommendation on the cover sheet is approved because of what P&Z said.
I understand, but what,
The
okay, so what
staff,
did you
we really don't have
recommend
enough
to
information.
P&Z?
We don't have enough information to really represent an approval.
Okay.
It's really kind of a tough call. It's a good business, but there's an existing business and some existing residents that will be impacted by the business.
Okay, all right, and you've gotten letters from surrounding?
Since P&Z, we've gotten letters from several of the condominium owners that are directly above the facility, and we've also, before the P&Z and after P&Z, have gotten letters from one of the businesses that are within the same building.
Okay, I presume those are in the packet as well as the?
They were submitted after we turned in the thing, so
Right.
we will have copies for everybody.
Okay, probably just, if you can email those out before, unless they're?
Yes.
Okay.
I expect to get some almost all the way up to the,
Yeah, you probably will, but as you get them, pass them
I'll
along.
make sure I get it digitally in.
Okay, cool.
In question,
Yes, sir.
the letters you're getting are, I'm assuming they're.
From the condominium owners that were above, directly above the space.
Most of them in opposition.
Yes, for sure. And then the letter we received before is from the business that's on the west end of the restaurant, or east end.
Eastern, yeah, in opposition also.
Correct.
I do have one
Yes,
question.
ma'am.
Are they closing at 9, the event space? Is that their intention, to not have events after 9
I think what they
PM?
mentioned at P&Z was 10.
10, okay.
And by per the EDC, they're supposed to close at 10.
Okay. I was thinking of noise, for noise in
Well, I think
apartments.
they submitted some other things that talk about, or that address some of those concerns, but you'll get them, so, okay, all right. Thank you, sir. I have no other questions. All right, and the mayor's got no business, yay. All right, so we have an update and discussion of the code enforcement matter in Rolling Hill subdivision, and Vice Mayor, do you have something you'd like to share with us about that?
I'm going to pass on A, B, and C today, Mayor.
Okay, in having any discussion, you mean?
Today I'm going to pass on comments on A, B, and C.
Okay, all right, that'll be fine, except that I don't know that anybody else wants to pass. So, the code enforcement matter in Rolling Hills, I provided that information to the Vice Mayor as it relates to code enforcement, and I thought it was interesting because in doing a little research, we have an overwhelming number of code items that I just am really surprised about, and I wrote it down. Let me see if I can find it somewhere. Our code officer, we currently have right, hang on, y'all have to bear with me here. We currently have over 1,000 cases that have been handled by our code enforcement folks
Over what time
in
period?
2026.
Okay.
And I say that, here it is, 1,009 completed cases in 2026, which if you recall, we've had a number of folks leave us in code enforcement. We've had, Chief, how many have we gone through? We've lost 3 folks in code enforcement, we're about to lose another? Is that accurate? So we have one gentleman, Officer Harvey, who has been a strong person for us for the last number of months. And so of the 1,009 completed cases, he was probably the thread that goes through that. And if you look at it, it takes a number of actions. You know, you've got to go, you look at the property, you submit the notice, you go back to the property, you talk to the person if you can. And so there's a number of steps that go with it to clear these. And so to have 1,009 completed cases, I think is extraordinary. We currently have 127 active cases, which means, from top to bottom, he's working 127 different locations and working the things that crop up because yesterday the grass wasn't tall and today it is because it rained or whatever. So, I mean, it's quite the number. And until I looked at the total, I really was not realizing it. So you do have to take into account those kinds of activities that we're asking essentially 1 + 1 plus whoever's going to hang with it long enough to do. So I think it's worth remarking on, and that sort of segues from my perspective. It segues to it doesn't to number 3. So if anybody wants me to look up anything in the active cases, I mean, I'm happy to do it, but the Vice Mayor specifically asked me to look up Rolling Hills. And so there were like 30-something cases in Rolling Hills that had been cleared this year. So I think it's an interesting number again that folks are complying because they've been, you write the notice and then the people do what they need to do and the case gets cleared. So there's currently only one, I believe, active case that hadn't been closed out in Rolling Hills, for example. So anyway, I just think that's interesting. And then, secondarily, yeah, sure.
I was going to say, I think two things were important there, and the number of cases that they're handling is clearly important. But the other, and the general public, and even those of us that sit on the board aren't always understanding of how long it takes to go from the initial contact through, sometimes it's an education experience, then if you get into a more legal process where there's a citation, it can take
Months,
far longer
actually.
than any of us
Yeah.
would like for it to accomplish these things. If there's a way to speed that up, I'd love to hear it.
Well, you're statutorily limited because you got to give 10 days. I mean, all of those things are part of that process. And so that's, the process that we deal with when it comes to us is a 21-19-11, either sub 1 or sub 2, just takes time all the way around. And I think we're experiencing that, but I do think an appreciation for the number of cases that have been found and then completed and then still pending is 127 as of this morning about 10 o'clock. So I just think that's worth noting. And then item B is information and discussion concerning the closing of fire station number 3. So number 3 fire station, the chief about a month ago?
It's Madam
July,
July 10th.
well, all right, you go. On July 10th, the chief came to me and asked me about closing Fire Station 3 to the use from the firefighters, and then moving them all to Fire Station number 5. And so, from my perspective, he had all the good reasons to do that, and I think it was an appropriate move, and I also considered it to be an operational move. So I approved that, and he has since done that. Currently operating out of Fire Station number 3 right now is Pafford, and so they are using it, which to me is perfect because they're right there near the hospital, they're near the Carrington, they're near the, what's the other place? I'm sorry? Starkville Manor, thank you, yes. So they're very near some of those places that call them with some degree of frequency. And so I thought that was a good use. I talked to Todd Palmer, who's in charge of the Pafford program, and they are taking over the utilities, et cetera, so there is no cost to the city for that facility any longer, in terms of, you know, the utilities, but where'd Edward go? They've got that in their name now, is that correct? Okay. So I did consider that to be operational. Now, where I erred, and you have my apologies, is not notifying the board en masse. I should have done that. But as I told the vice mayor when we talked about it a while back, I said, you know, there are occasions, in my case in particular, when you're sort of up to your ass in alligators, you forget you're there to drain the swamp. And so I had some other things going on, and I just clearly neglected to do that. So I got drawn away from something of substance, and I should have provided it to you. But that's my information and discussion concerning the closing of fire station number 3 from me. Anybody have any questions about that?
That fire station has never been our most efficiently, it's just
No.
had problems all
Yes.
along, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has. Chief, were you around when that fire? You weren't around when that fire station was built. Because the vice mayor said he wasn't in his position when that fire station was built. But my recollection, as I've been told by those who were a number of years ago, that when they built it, and even when they drive in, you can't open both doors. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So it was Starkville doing what Starkville has occasionally done in the past, and not an admirable thing of not building it with the proper specs. So I think Station 5 is serving you well. All right, good deal.
That was my only
Yes.
concern, but wasn't aware of it and
Yes.
know nothing about it.
Yes, sir. Now, I
I thought
understand.
the board should have been fully informed that they were going to close.
Yep, I agree, and I should have shared that with you. So,
And I just want to say, I did get a phone call from our former alderman, Beatty, and he was concerned about MSU and us not notifying him. I told him that Station 3 is not what responds to Mississippi State anyway. It would be Station 1 and 2, 1 and 4 would be the ones that would respond quicker. So I didn't think there was a need.
well, and
And they did communicate with proper channels.
At the very
so
least, let me just say that if the chief thought that MSU would be impacted by it,
We
he'd
wouldn't have
never
done
done
it.
it.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
I have absolute faith in your judgment on that. That's the reason you're the chief, and I'm not a fire person. So I presume a lot of support for you as you make those kinds of decisions. So, yes, sir. All right, yes, sir. All right, item C is adoption of a resolution lowering and setting the city's millage rate downward from 34 mills to 28.69 for the fiscal year 2027 for the city of Starkville. And so that, as I understand it, Mr. Corbin, that would be removing all of the appraised value that was increased from the new assessment.
The tax.
Okay, so if we take our millage, I think that's the reason he provided you this information here. I asked him to provide here we go. There we are. It's the 2,102,633, and that obviously is an assumption based on an assumption on collections. That's exactly right. So, and then the other licenses and permits, sales tax, et cetera, et cetera. So, but it's the big amount is the 2 million that is associated with the reassessment. So I think that as we look at the things that have been asked of our board, I mean of the board by our department heads, I think it's important to note the things that they are requesting. And so the requests are from the courts. We went over this before at our work session that was strictly related to the budget, but we're now about to get into the middle of it anyway. So the courts has asked, or Monica is asking for a part-time to a full-time position, and that is due to the fact that there's an additional day that was added to. Can you find it, Mr. Huskisson, or are you just gonna look on the Alderman Vaughn's paper? I saw that. Okay, so Ms. Larry has asked for that to be increased to a full-time position, and in large part, that's due to the fact they've added a day to courts, because we have a number of things that we're handling now, and the judge has done that. So I think that's probably something that is a reasonable request. And each one of the department heads, I think it's safe to say, have looked at what they need, and they're telling us what they need. And so we have IT software, and that's based on obsolescence of what we've currently got.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? And that phone system is the same.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? The comprehensive plan was mine because I think it's important. We have annexed territory. We're rolling on to the 10 years. And I think it's important for us to look at that. It gives us information, for example, that includes housing and what our housing needs and status currently is. So I think there are a number of things that we would benefit. So, and it takes a while to do that. So 75,000 is included in there for half a year because we're just estimating right now what it would cost. So you start it maybe at the first of next year and it won't get done until 2028 because I think it's a 12-month or so process. So you could split it between two budgets. The chief has asked for a sergeant position, a police officer position, a new parking position, code enforcement, and I think that is self-evident as to why it's needed. And then the board has already approved the 3 firefighter positions, and the things that are attendant to that are the promotions that are on the next page, but I'll let that one move. I have agreed not to go back to get another administrative assistant or secretary for me, so making that choice. We've got jail expenses that we can't do anything about. We've got police vehicle and maintenance that we under budgeted last time. I don't expect that to be a whole lot different unless and until we continue our new vehicle approval. So that is what would reduce the repairs and maintenance that we are experiencing, and that's the program that we're on with the lease program. Under fire promotions, that was part of that for the 3 new positions. Debt service, can't do anything about that one. Street lighting, we under budgeted, and that's nothing we can do anything about either because street lights are something that we need, and we have to pay for. PERS, we can't do anything about. Health insurance increase, we can't do anything about. Pay raises, you can do something about it, but I will tell you now that if we don't keep up with other communities, and we will go back to losing people, and I can say in the last year or two where we've been working very hard to retain people by paying them the value that at least is commensurate with some of our surrounding communities, that we've been successful in retention. I turn to you, both chiefs, from a retention standpoint. Is that factual? Have we been able to do a better job of retention?
That is very good.
Chief? Okay, that's the case. Mr. Smiley, how about you?
Yes, ma'am, we're very competitive, so.
Okay.
Very much appreciated.
Okay, well, that's one of those things that is certainly within our control, but I think it warrants deep study before we start cutting back on our ability to be attractive to high-quality people, because we expect high-quality people in our community to serve our citizens. Property insurance, can't do anything about it. Parks, those are utility bills, so we have a splash pad that is in great use, and the more it's enjoyed and the more it's used, and which is what we've got it there for, the more it's going to cost us in terms of water. We have
Janitors, don't leave out janitors.
and janitors, that's right. Because that, of all the things that parks seem to have issues about, it's keeping them clean, and that it bubbles up to the surface more than anything else for us when we hear problems with the parks. So the janitorial staff for the restrooms and then the increased utility bills, I don't see us shutting down the splash pad because the water cost is high. Mr. Kemp has agreed to help us with the concept of the sewer. And so while it would normally go through the sewer system and we would charge for it because it is lightly used water, we'll say, he has agreed to reduce that sewer cost to us. So the 60,000 gallons that we use doesn't have an incremental addition to it based on sewer in that same amount. Transfer to environmental service fund for maintenance. I'm sorry. Okay, help me with that.
182 coming online.
Ah, okay. All right. That's keeping Mr. Love's, Mr. Johnson's area and all the areas that go along with that up. So any of those, and for the most part, those are policy decisions. Those are not department head decisions. Those are policy decisions. What do we value? What can we do without? What do we need to do to maintain the quality of service and the quality that we assume we want our city to be? So it's easy for me to say, and I'm happy to stand here and say that I think we ought to leave that at 34 mills, and we should continue to honor those obligations that we've made to have a huge amount of quality personnel, give them what they need to do their job. And so, you know, if we're going to start cutting things back, then leadership tells me that if we start with something, we should start with ourselves. So, you know, the value of a mill right now is $394.5. At 0.1 mil is going to be $39,450. So every 0.1 mil we find, we can reduce it by $39,450. And so, you know, the alderman and the mayor, and I include myself in that, we are approximately 206,710 of the budget. So 22,000 per ward, is that accurate? 22,000 per ward? Okay. So, you know, from a leadership standpoint, if we want to say, you know, everybody else sacrifices, then we should start with ourselves. And so I would suggest that the board consider what a reduction in our pay. I certainly am willing to take one, and I think if we're going to do that, that's an appropriate consideration to have. And I say that with no hesitation whatsoever. We've exhibited that kind of leadership before in COVID, and I certainly think it's appropriate for us to consider doing that now. We could all pay ourselves minimum wage of $7.50 or for 20 hours a week or something along those lines. So I would say if we want to start entertaining those kinds of decreases in costs, then that's one of the places to start. So.
And that obviously won't get us there.
Well, it won't, but it was
if
it's not going to get you.
No. It is a great first step. I didn't mean that at all. What I was going to say was that if you look at all the things that are changed from this year, if we eliminated the police positions that were requested, if we eliminated the additional code enforcement position, if we didn't do pay raises, all that sort of thing, we still have, even with this reduction that you're talking about, another $1 million or so that we have to find to cut out of the budget to get down to the level that's being proposed. And there's no way that you do that without touching police and fire. They are 60% of our people. They are, well, they're a significant portion of our people. They're half of our budget, 45% of our budget.
I was going to actually dig for the number.
No, they're 45% of our budget. So there's no way you do it. And when you take out the things that we're contractually obligated to pay already, the existing debt service from City Hall, the police station, the Link industrial park that still sits in the general fund debt service, those kinds of things, the utilities that we pay, the software licensing that's already in place, the things that we're left with that we can cut really comes down pretty much to people. And so to eliminate, even if it were 80% of that, if we were trying to eliminate $800,000 of people-related cost, there's no way to do that without touching two of our most basic services, which is police and fire. I understand the idea that people don't like to pay taxes, but there is a point at which you do irreparable harm to the city, and you really don't provide a similar benefit to the people in the community. If we were, this is just under six mills. That would be about a 4% overall tax bill amount. If I talked to somebody yesterday whose taxes are going up $3,000. So instead of going up $3,000, that person's taxes would go up $2,900. And we have eliminated really basic services that we need to do. I understand that I understand about the tax sentiment. I do, but I don't understand putting the city in a position that does harm that would take decades to recover from, whether it's police and fire and staffing them back up, streets, parks, any of those things. And we've seen what the city looks like when we don't take care of those things.
Yeah. If we haven't been doing what we've been doing, we wouldn't be having the success. Yes, sir.
Well, we've taken on consider, we said we don't want, people paying taxes. But a lot of people move out of the city and don't know taxes they pay. We gotta look at a lot more things too. I mean, we said we don't want to cut this, but we know more taxes when they get ready to come onto the citizen from the school. We know there's some more tax going to come from that, and they already paying all these taxes now. What about the citizen? What about the taxpayer? Are we taking them on any kind of consideration?
Well, yes. I mean, from my perspective, the consideration is that we've given you the best police force in the South. We've given you the best fire. I mean, that's what you're paying for.
I mean, I look at the business owners. What do we do to encourage them to stay in the city? What do we do for them? I mean, what kind of incentive do we have them? What kind of encouragement do we do? What about everybody just decided, a bunch of people decided to pick up, pack up, and leave? What would we do then? What would we do with the taxes? Ain't nobody here to pay taxes.
Well, whoever owns property is going to be paying taxes, and that's the thing. But we have people moving in. We don't have people. We're one of the few municipalities in the state of Mississippi that people are moving to.
Anything can change, man.
Well, it can, but if we degrade our services,
we killing the taxpayer. We really putting everything on the taxpayer. And you know we're gonna put some more taxes on. I don't know. It's something to think about, though. It's something to think about.
Well, this is policy, and this is where we are, and this is the kind of decision that we've absolutely.
We might have to look somewhere to find somewhere to cut something from somewhere else. I mean, I just can't.
Well,
think about it.
It is, and I will.
Think about it.
And the county has got the same issue, and in talking to some of the folks that are talking about theirs, they have, as I understand it, no intention of lowering their tax. So, I don't think that the city should be the one that takes the brunt of this. I think we give, for the things that we pay, because we're also taxpayers. For the things that we pay, we get the highest value for the dollar. And so I think it is absolutely critical, and from my perspective, code enforcement is critical. Our police, if we don't have a safe city, they'll move out. If we don't have a safe city, we can color them gone. And we've got, what, $50,000 in cameras in there?
55.
Mr. Clemens, 55, okay. And cameras are a part of that. You want to take those cameras out? I mean, you can nickel and dime this down, but you're not going to find $1 million through this process.
How often do we get a chance to lower the millage for the citizens? How often do we get a chance to lower the millage
Every
for
year,
taxpayers?
every year we adopt a budget.
Yeah.
But we take it somewhere, we don't never do it for them.
Back in 1989, maybe, it was before the vice mayor, they lowered it from 19 to 16, I believe it was, and there may be some point something like 16.15 or something. But I remember seeing that in the minutes. But that was the last time that you had a lowering, and to lower something 3 mills like that takes years. And for years, Starkville has been under a reputation that we were not a place that was people were proud of, and I'll just say it that way. And that's the feedback that I got when I moved back in 2004.
So at the same time, we talking about taking $1 million and remodeling the library all at the same time.
That $1 million doesn't
That's not
come-
our money.
does not come
That's a
from-
private donation.
That's right. That comes from nothing from the city.
Alderman Bone, I'm in the same boat with you. I mean, to the degree, but unfortunately, until legislature, one, either frees our hands for what we can do, we only have 2 sources of revenue. And I don't know another way around it. And with the millage increase, what you were saying, the question I would ask is that why we're kicking the can? Is that why we can't do projects because it was cut however long ago? Are we catching up from that? I'm torn too, but we don't have any other sources of revenue. And you gotta think about the county's got the opportunity to lower theirs too. They sold the hospital. We don't have any other source to run this down. It's just these two. And I don't know, they're not any good options, but we can look for sure. I mean, I'll sit down with you and look. I've sat in on all these budget meetings. I do not mind.
But you're not gonna find, I will tell you now, you're not gonna find $1 million.
No, I know.
An additional
but-
$1 million. So, but again, you can lower a tenth here, a tenth there, another tenth here. You can get it down some. And again, starts with us.
Got to
Start with
absolutely
us.
start with us.
Okay, anybody else? Any other comments? All righty. Well, we will move to, the proposed, these three items, D, E, and F, are our annual 2% that goes with the funding for CVB or VCC, depending on how you want to reference it, and OCEDA, and then the student population for the student affairs. So consent for those? All righty, thank you. Then under the airport, these are all grants that are approved by us, but it's not money from us. This is money, where'd you go? There he is. This is money for, from MDOT, right? Okay, so consent for that one?
Consent.
We don't want to turn that down? Okay, community development. Mr. Haviland, where did you go? Well, there you are. You're hiding. Come on in.
So the first item we have is for an encroachment agreement. This is for the former Book Park location. The owner of LA Green has bought that building, is now moving over. So the left side of it will be the continuation of LA Green, and the right side will be retail space. And they're just proposing to put like an iron metal balcony.
Like Restaurant Top.
Correct.
I think that's exciting. I love that. So we'll have some more.
It's a really good looking render.
Yeah.
Are they gonna put residential up there?
No, it's going to be a retail space. Just kind of look for something more like a bookstore or something kind of a lower intensity residential use.
To have a
I mean, retail
balcony.
use.
So. Okay.
But it's a really good product.
Yeah, cool. Anybody want to, is it okay to put a consent on that one?
It's okay,
Okay,
consent.
good deal. And then the preliminary plat for Sterling Ridge.
Yes, we've already approved this once, but after the approval, when we got ready for the infrastructure plans, they said that they wanted to phase the project, which means we had to go back and re-review it as a phase project. Because the phase project is treated completely different. Each phase is like a standalone subdivision. So if something happens with the developer, it can function on its own. So they had to go back through that process. And when they were originally approved, they had 5 conditions of approval. Since then, one of the conditions dropped off, which is about easement, because now they show it on the preliminary plat. The other 4 are still on there.
Okay.
And it was recommended unanimously by the PZ.
Okay, consent for that one?
It's okay, we meet with the board, it's okay.
All right. And then we have the final plat approval.
Yes, this is a minor subdivision. These are the 2 houses on the corner of Scales and Louisville Street. The 2 new houses that are for sale. They're just moving the property line in between them 20 feet to the east.
Okay, all right, consent, thank you. All right, let's see, under engineering, we have public infrastructure for Clark Grove. I think that you've been in the loop on that one, haven't you?
Yeah.
Okay, and Mr. Williams, where are you? There you are. So any issues, no issues with this one, right? Okay, consent for that one?
Consent.
All right. And then the low quote from Brownstone for stormwater inlets at Sycamore and Maple. All good?
Consent.
Okay, consent, thank you. All right, we will skip the claims docket, then we financials. Anything about financials we need to know, Mr. Porter? No? Okay, consent for that one. And then, again, acknowledging privilege license, consent, and then budget adjustments. What, would you like to share a little bit of that?
Sure, there are 2 major budget adjustments in this. One's going to police and one's going to parks. Police is mainly driven by vehicle repair costs, gas and oil, and then their cot district surge that they had to do. And then parks is utility costs.
Utilities, okay, all right, consent, all right. And then under human resources, we've got, is Mr. Ashford up? Okay, all right, if there are any questions of Mr. Ashford, we've got hiring of 2 reserve firefighters, they're non-EMT. So, Chief, all good?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ashford, anything about that?
No, ma'am, they're replacement position.
Okay,
Consent.
consent. And then Ashley Boyd, that, I know that's a replacement position for Mr. Smiley, correct?
No, that's
Oh, I'm
in
sorry,
utility.
utilities, I jumped one, my apologies. Promoting Ashley
But it is
Boyd. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, it is a replacement position.
Okay, all right. Consent for that one?
Consent.
Okay, and now the sanitation department is a replacement for the, oh, it's a driver. Where am I? I apologize. I've reversed them. It's the one at the bottom. My apologies. Okay, this is This is also a replacement position, right? Shut up, Mike.
I got a question.
Yes,
Who
ma'am.
left over at utility? Has that position been vacant or did we just lose somebody on that?
It's been vacant. We just haven't filled it before because of the candidates, but it's been vacant for probably 2 years, a little bit over 2 years.
Oh, my.
I think it's been a while.
Okay, all right,
Percent.
okay. And then,
Hard to track
I'm just gonna read what I got. You're hiring Mr. Buford for driver, commercial one and sanitation department.
Percent.
Consent for that one. And then the replacement position for Joy is the outreach administrative coordinator for the sanitation.
There you
department. Consent for that. All right, fine. It's gonna be one of those Fridays. All right, code enforcement. We have,
Ready for football.
really, we have the items, the locations that need mowing. So 117 Clements, 1699 Rock Hill, 12944 Mississippi 182, and then the parcel number. So consent for that one? All right. And then utilities, last but not least, Edward, advertising for bids for the wastewater improvement project.
Yes, ma'am. This is an ARC project that we were awarded a couple years ago through the design, the environmental, through the design. Now we're ready to advertise for bids.
Okay, all right.
And this isn't the force main.
This is the force main.
Can we put that in, just on the item on the agenda, can you just word it where it has the force main in there?
Yeah.
So when we go search it, we know.
Sure.
Because it doesn't, like the Stark Road wastewater, Stark Road force main or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure.
We can revise that
Absolutely.
title.
Okay, consent?
Percent.
Okay. Low quote from Berry Electric for the transfer switch installation.
Percent.
This is just some electrical
Okay.
upgrades that are needed at the South
Okay.
Montgomery well.
This is South Montgomery.
And then the copper top sheet metal, and that's to replace the remaining roofs on buildings that are in need.
Buildings and water treatment that are in need, that are
Okay.
asphalt and shingle right now.
All right.
Percent.
Consent for that one. And then the low quote for the Thompson Cat for the mini excavator, and this is a new one
Yes, ma'am.
because we have that much work that needs to be done, and we have enough crews to be able to do more work if we
Yeah,
have
one of
another.
the
issue.
operational efficiency changes we've been making is moving from a 3-man crew to a 2-man crew. So in turn, we have more crews, smaller in size. Right now, we're having to share pieces of equipment. We also brought back Mr. Sykes that's gonna do concrete work for
I
us.
saw him doing concrete work yesterday.
So again, he'll be needing a piece of equipment at a time, so this would get us an additional piece of equipment, so we'll have 5 pieces to share between the 6 crews.
Okay, all right,
Keep for outsourcing someone.
Yes, sir.
Consent.
okay. And then sole source quote for whatever this is, annual license renewal. Software.
CCTV
Consent?
truck.
Okay, consent for that? All right.
Is that back
takes
on?
us to the end.
Is it
Thank
back
you,
on?
everyone.
Did the
Have a
paper
great-
come in?
Great weekend.
It is.
Kids are back.
Oh.
Excited. Kids are back.